What is up? What's up, Patrick? Welcome back to, I guess it's your show, technically, the Patrick Show. I'm just a guest.
Handing it over.
Yeah, you're taking over.
That was easy.
Um, yeah, but happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. There's people rolling in. They're rushing in the gates, trying to get past security to see the Patrick and Doug show, Patrick Show. Don't do this, Liz, with Liz Perfectly 2.0 Part 2. Again, we're back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
happy to be back. This much shorter absence, which is nice.
yeah,
But glad to be back. We got a lot of stuff going on, and looking forward to talking things with you.
yeah, for sure. This is always fun to touch base. A lot of stuff going on. Let me check my links real quick, etc., etc. Do this. All right. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Always a lot going on with this perfectly. Um, what's up? Star Bryson's here flipping hippos. I think that Desiree's back. I think Carol's here. What's up? More people will be coming in, but drop your questions in, drop your comments, give us the thumbs up, give us a like. We love likes, comments, shares, and yeah, chime in. We're going to be covering a bunch of stuff. We didn't get through everything. That's the funny thing. We didn't get through everything the first time, but technically stuff's been added since we did this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, actually, it's been really busy last couple of weeks. Actually, for real on the tech side of things, updates and new releases and things like that. So probably won't get through the list this time either.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to ask. I may put Patrick on the spot at the end. A little surprise. We're still in negotiations on, but we will see. We will see. Refashioned hippie Maggie Weber's here. She's a big fan of us, Patrick.
I'm a fan of Maggie.
Yes, no, Maggie's cool. She's
feelings mutual.
That's right. Taking time from her busy YouTube schedule to drop in on us. Back in the saddle again. Yeah, well, here we go. Flipping hippos is getting there. We will certainly get to this, and I'm going to try and pry some stuff out of Patrick. See, he's usually pretty stoic and perhaps a tough clam to crack. Patrick, I'll stop the show. Patrick, Maggie wants you to know that Maggie Refashioned Hippie wants you to know that she says hello.
Hello.
So there you go.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're going to get to Express Lister. And there was something I wanted to start out with, but I think I'm going to move up one item. So I would like to start with, and I'll share stuff as we go, but the links I have are from this cool new tool that we have that I think we need to let people know about. So let's start with the List Perfectly Help Center.
Help Center. Yeah. So did we touch on that last time at all? I can't remember. But
your voice is changing. That is interesting.
Yeah. Either way. So the new Help Center was a long time coming, new, full new everything. Like List Perfectly. I mean, anybody that's been a long time member of List Perfectly, things look a lot different than they did even just 6 months ago. That goes from the new catalog, how that looks, all the way through to our help documentation. The new, everybody will probably notice that little chat bubble down at the bottom. So really just, ramping things up, improving processes, improving things for the customer experience. So Doug's sharing his screen right now showing the new Help Center, but like, this is just so handy. This search is so good. To find issues, you can see there's those trending topics. And then you get into just really breaking down all things List Perfectly. Different troubleshooting steps. There could be very specific, kind of like extension questions and things like that, or just all of your how-tos can be found here. So really kind of putting things in place for that user that likes to, get their own answers, or, likes to kind of search and figure out things, maybe expose themselves to things that they're not using. So yeah, I see some comments about that chat bubble, and yeah, Doug's sharing here. So this is like our one-stop center for all things kind of support, customer success. So you've got your news section. You can search right into these help documentation articles here, right from the help one bubble down there. And then you'll also notice where you can get into messages, and then finally the task. But yeah, this is cool because excuse me, on, if you're in the middle of Crosspost and you're on List Perfectly working and you're just looking something up, you see something you're not really sure, and you're like, what is the Pro Description Builder? You see something, you just pop this open, search Pro Description Builder, and it will, pull up all the information about that. So it really is just kind of a nice little tool that's always kind of with you. So yeah, you can see that right there. List Perfectly's Description Builder. So yeah, you can click that and kind of read into that documentation. So it's been a really nice upgrade. Obviously it looks nice. It makes things much easier to kind of digest. And then
go ahead.
And then when you were showing that messages section, that's really how you can get in touch with us now. I mean, really at the core of it, nothing's really changed in the sense that it's just kind of packaged different. We're still, the goal here is still, let's ask a few questions. Let's help each other out. We want to understand what's going on. We want to, without having you, be asked a million questions. So we'll ask a few things. We'll get this some information, and then you can always reach out to us at the end, reach out to our support team, kind of 24/7, honestly, and get help that way. So, the old system served us well for a really long time, but I would definitely encourage everyone to really explore this. Don't ignore the that little support bubble down there. If you see a little red notification pop up on there, click on it, read it. We're really trying to make sure that we're not pushing any kind of updates or announcements that aren't important. We're not trying to distract you. So the ones that do come through, definitely, if you can, take a moment, read it. We're definitely pushing like the new features through here and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And it's just going to continue to improve and get better. So, if you've interacted with it in the last couple of days, it might look a little bit different in the coming weeks as we kind of fine tune that experience for all of our users.
Yeah. And I think it's a little more of a, like you said, fine tuned, very robust search. The stuff comes up right away. Handling, a lot of all of our support now through there, and it makes it so that you can search for answers yourself too. If that's the kind of thing you're looking for. But I just want to show you real quick. So that's like if in your List Perfectly catalog here, you got that little button, little widget, little smiley face. You click and it opens it all and gets you right in there. You've got all the features in there. And like Patrick said, you would see if you that red dot, you'll see messages in there, and you can communicate back and forth. And it's all that cool functionality too. It's almost like you'll see that running chat of your messages too. But another support option, informational option, and to go with our "don't do this" theme. Like Patrick said, don't not use this. Get used to it. This is where your notifications are going to be, and we're going to be doing a lot more through this this List Perfectly support, including a lot of referral stuff as well.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I would definitely get familiar with it. It is kind of, it's here to stay. And like Doug said, the it's going to get ramped up for referral stuff. And like this help center, the studies show that people will help themselves if they have the tools to do it. Some people, everybody's different. People like to just reach out. Some people have things that they can't find, stuff like that. But overall, we're trying to get to, kind of armor people with the right tools so that they can help themselves. I mean, the entire point of List Perfectly is, at its core, a productivity tool.
Yeah.
So, eliminating any kind of downtime is going to be beneficial to our users and for List Perfectly.
And as Maggie says, less embarrassing emails to tech support.
None of them are embarrassing. We welcome them all, but well, maybe not all of them. As long as you're nice.
There you go.
But yeah, no. No. I mean, but it is less. It's less for you. There's less waiting, less back and forth, and it's less. I mean, obviously, it's less for internally on the team too. So when we're not doing that, then it opens up the doors for other things to get done.
Okay. Tommy in Seattle. What's up, Tommy? Thanks for joining us. How do you get past support tickets to view them using the new help box?
So just to clarify, maybe are you saying like how do you view like your past ones, or how do you just go about submitting one? So Doug, if you want to show your screen again.
Okay, 1 sec.
Oh yeah, right there. Get to past ones. So if it's really old ones in the support system that our old system had, they wouldn't be in here. The previous support tickets that have been submitted here will just be in your messages tab, like Doug is on here. And then this is where your past conversations would be stored. But if it was a conversation that took place prior to this being released, that would be stored on the old site. And to be honest, right this moment, the option is hidden. But if you're looking for something specific, reach out to us and we can send you some direct links. But yeah, that is how you would find the previous conversations.
Okay. Yeah, this is a new system we moved over to, so not everything's gonna carry over. But again, it's great. It's very robust. We're going to be showing a lot from that today. And again, it's your help portal, your informational portal, your learning portal. It's going to be more and more a communication portal for us, but it's the new List Perfectly Help Center. Oh, and then again, these links that we're going to share, you do have to be logged into your List Perfectly to see these. So if you don't see them, or if you get any kind of error, that's what it is. Just make sure to be logged in. And as always, please hit the thumbs up and show us some love. Thank you, Kim. So let's move on to the Google update. Let's talk about that. I mean, Amanda and I touched on that last week, but I just want to kind of do a reminder and then just remind people why it's important, why it was important, what it means for List Perfectly going forward. I had to do it yesterday. It was literally the click of a button. It was just like, update your preferences. No big deal.
Yeah, it's really not a big deal. I mean, it did, we did that last week. So basically, Google said, hey, everybody using extensions and that are putting extensions onto the web store, you need to get up to par and use the latest and greatest and everything for them. So, as that date's approaching, we, meaning everybody that's making extensions, need to update for that. So last week that took place finally. And what it did is basically released a brand new extension of List Perfectly, brand new version. And during that update, because this is a brand new version, what Doug's showing here is that there were some permissions that needed to be accepted, that maybe a reinstall needed to take place. It kind of without getting too much into it, it really depended on what version of List Perfectly you had installed at that moment. That kind of controlled what that experience was like. To be honest, I've been with List Perfectly for almost 5 years now. Really, this is probably one of the only times. And these are permissions that are put in place by Google that basically Google says, hey, if your extension wants to do this, you have to have this specific permission. So these are things that are put in place by Google. They're all very secure and safe. And so, yeah, so that took place last week. If you're, for some reason, if you're still seeing that reminder, or you're seeing an error at the top right of your Chrome, like Doug said, it's pretty simple. You just click that and accept the permissions, and then you're good to go. So yeah, it was something that, came from Google, kind of forced updates. But the cool thing is that with this update came new features, and more importantly, sets the stage for a lot more features to begin to be introduced to this version.
Yeah.
Because Google was, basically saying, like, you can't continue to support these older versions. It's time to upgrade and everything. And so, like I said, it really just sets the stage for bigger and better things to get updated in the extension. So, we're looking forward to that. I appreciate everybody's patience during that. They're like you mentioned, it's pretty easy. But it is different. It was a different flow. And like I said, it's a brand new version. So, there have been, just being fully transparent, there have been like some found issues and things like that, but we're working through them. We've released, I believe, since last week when we first released this, I think we've released 2 or 3 more versions here in the last couple of days with fixes and patches, just to keep things kind of running smoothly.
So speaking of that, and thanks for the great overview on the Google update. Let's talk about when there are issues. And so we're a platform, and we work with a bunch of other platforms, a bunch of the marketplaces, and the perception sometimes is that there's a problem with List Perfectly when it's actually something that's going on in the marketplace. So we're connecting you to all these different marketplaces, but if these guys make a change or these guys make an update, a lot of times we have to adjust to that. Sometimes we don't know until you let us know. Sometimes we know and we're working on it. So if you could talk about that a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah. I'm always kind of flattered whenever, people reach out and that, my List Perfectly is, not working, blah, blah, blah. And like, to us, it's kind of clear that, it's not List Perfectly. That's something on the marketplace. Sure. Like you said, we work with all the different platforms, and unfortunately the reality is not, Mr. Depop calls Mrs. List Perfectly and says, hey, we're going to make this change. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are times where these updates are, depending on what's going on and things like that, there's more. But, to be honest, there's just there's times where little tweaks on the marketplaces can, cause these basic, like, brief interruptions.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're way ahead of it, and, and we can get ahead of it, and nobody even notices that there's ever an issue. Other times you could run into something very specific where, in fact, I think Desiree on the call here, heavy Vestair user, her account gets placed into something a little bit different view. Yeah. And whenever things like that take place, it requires some updates. I would love to say that working with the marketplaces that, you're never going to experience any kind of little brief interruptions, but it's just not really realistic. Marketplaces are doing their best to make their user experience the best possible. And, we're doing our best. So the good thing is that those kinds of updates usually are quick. Yeah. it's pretty rare. Even something like, these marketplaces introducing brand new listing forms. Obviously, that's a big project and everything, but like typically, you're not just going to wake up one day and the entire thing is brand new.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
we've seen eBay go through a large transition. We've seen Etsy over the last few months has been, in fact, I think we're coming up on Etsy. I can't remember what their date was exactly, but Etsy's been phasing out the old forms. So it's more the smaller things, the little
Yeah,
details that get changed. So
yeah,
it happens, though. It does. I'm not going to hide behind it and say that we're never have had an issue or anything like that.
sure, sure.
So
But yeah, I mean, and we do actually, like Patrick said, we communicate with the marketplaces a lot. Sometimes they let us know that something's coming up. Sometimes they don't know that there's an issue. Sometimes, honestly, they can't say anything
yeah,
until it's out. But if we don't know, and sometimes we're working on it, but feel free to let us know. Uh, Contact support, and we'll get it fixed. And then the other thing to keep in mind too is a lot of times you've got a lot of when somebody has an issue, whether it's with the marketplace, whether it's with List Perfectly, a lot of times there's a lot of stuff going on. It could have something to do with browser extensions. It could have something to do with your browser update. It could have something to do with plugins, other plugins that you have with your browser. So that's why it's so cool that you can contact support, you can share your screen, you can send a video, and we can really look at what's going on with what you've got on your device.
yeah. I mean, the List Perfectly we do have a software component, absolutely, but the reality is that this isn't a piece of software that you bought in 1996 that is shipped with its final update, and that's how
Yeah,
it is.
that's
I
it.
mean, the reality is that these updates are always taking place. We're working with marketplaces that are always making updates and stuff like that. So it's going to happen, which is why we take a lot of effort right now to focus on that, like, help support widget,
Sure, sure.
or that help center, to give users the tools. And some people love it, some people aren't able to maybe share their screen for security reasons and things like that. But the point is that we kind of want to provide you guys with the tools to be able to provide us with the right information. And I can't even begin to tell you how many things we've been able to figure out, little unique things that no one could have possibly tested for or anything like that. But
Yeah.
simply working with a user, shoot us a screen recording, and in 5 minutes we're replicating, and an update is pushed within an hour. So
Yeah.
it's proven to be very helpful. And yeah, but I mean, overall, things remain very stable working with all the
Yeah.
marketplaces, especially like in the grand scheme of things. Like, obviously, things going wrong with the bigger marketplaces makes it more difficult, but
Sure.
overall, for what we're doing with the marketplaces, it's very stable, and we're very happy with it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. And we've got a known issues section, so we definitely are transparent with what's going on, what we're working on, what we're fixing. But I don't want to delay too much because then we might have to do a 3.0. But let's go
Mhm.
over some of the features that have come out recently, and let's start with the big gun. So let's start with, and this is, I mean, it's interesting when I talk to other sellers because there's some people that hate certain aspects of it. I enjoy listing. I like it. I think it's fun. And this new listing assistant and what's coming soon, there's a lot of buzz around it right now. Express Lister slash listing assistant. It's in there. You click Express Lister, it gets you to listing assistant. It's actually fun to list with, and it's going to get even better. But so let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I know that you guys touched on it last week. Yeah, I mean, it's big, it's huge, it's going to really change people's workflow, what they do. I mean, it's impressive. It's definitely been one of them, a really fun feature to be a part of, kind of from the ground up. And it's really just getting started. So, kind of for everybody that doesn't know, List Perfectly offers a listing assistant feature. And essentially what that is that there's multiple components to it. There's a barcode scan feature, allows you to literally scan a barcode, and then it pulls in all this information. The other component is more of the AI side of things, that what was originally released was with your title that you have put in, you can utilize the listing assistant to generate description and all these other details. So you get the idea here. Listing assistant helps you come along and create listings. Well, the most recent update that we've been working on and put out and is available is that through Express Lister, Listing Assistant now has a title generation component. And that is AI based, coming right off of your photos. So yes, I think if it may not be on this one here, but yeah, they're essentially, all you do is take your photos, and then a title is generated. You upload your photos, a title is generated off of that, and this thing's so freaking good. I mean, it is scary, like impressive. Um, and it's not just clothes, it's literally anything. You put anything in, and it's generating quality, really well built titles for e-commerce, for the marketplaces. And so right now with Listing Assistant, this is kind of, there's two different parts, through the Express Lister and then the normal listing form. And coming soon, that will be kind of a more married up thing, and it won't be kind of separated. Right this moment, as of today, you can generate titles, auto generate titles, and then you would just edit your listing and utilize that generated title to spit out the rest of the description and all that. So again, this is creating whole well-built listings off of your photos that you take.
So real quick, so a couple things. Remind us what plans this is available in.
So right now, these are, the listing assistant is part of the Pro Plus.
Pro Plus. So,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So, which again, I know we talked about this last week. Pro Plus continues to be completely free to opt into if you're on the Pro plan level. So, and this goes all the way through the end of 2024. Simply just be a part of the Pro plan, and then you would just opt into Pro Plus, and then you can access all of these features.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
which is obviously really cool. I mean, the features are great. I can't really. I can just tell you that this is just kind of the starting point. People are really, really finding a lot of value out of it with Express Lister and the title generation already. But I can tell you, it is going to be so much better in not that far distant of a future. There's a lot of work already done on it, and really to make creating listings so easy. I mean, it's, at least for me personally, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of really interesting to kind of see how far this has come, with just off of a few images and getting entire built listings in seconds.
So tell us about the Mickey Mouse polo example you did the other day. So you took the pictures, and what's really interesting to me is it picked up so much info off the tag easily
Mm-hmm.
for clothing sellers.
Yeah. I mean, lots of sellers, lots of our sellers, just because I don't know what the stat is. I think like 60% of on marketplace is clothing or something like that. Not necessarily our users, but a lot of users are clothing. So let's use that as an example. But yeah, what Doug's talking about is, all I did was upload this golf polo. I told it nothing. I had 5 images that I uploaded,
Sure.
and it analyzes the images and gets as much information as possible from
Yeah.
them. So with that being said, the title that was generated, I don't remember exactly what it was offhand, but it picked up the brand, the material, the Mickey Mouse logo that was embroidered on the chest. Off of the tag, it was picking up where it was made in, the size,
Sure.
all of the basically all of the product details, and then formatted it into a title that was, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm the title expert for every marketplace, but this thing was ready to go.
Yeah.
I wasn't having to manipulate anything really. So the point being though is that if you, let's say you get off of here and you start playing around with this and using it, um, set it up for success. Give it as much information as you can. Like, do you have to do a picture of the front and then the back and then the tag? No, you do not have to do that at all. But look, if you are selling glassware and
Mhm.
there's a stamp on the bottom,
Yeah.
it's going to be in your best interest to include it. Number one, you should be including it for your image, anyways.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
number two, for the listing generation, that is going to be taken into consideration and will be, kind of analyzed. So that's where you're going to get the best information. Set it up for success. Give it some good images. Give it, like I said, if you're doing clothing, maybe include the tag,
Sure.
um, or the care instructions. Obviously it depends on what kind of product you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, it's really, I mean, all I can say is give it a try
Yeah.
and you'll be impressed. I'm a golfer and I had some pictures of some old putters. I mean, they were old. They're not worth anything, but I just had these pictures, uploaded them, and it did an incredible job finding the information and knew exactly what the model was. So yeah, and it will continue to get better, and
Yeah.
that's what's really cool and kind of scary is you work with it and you realize how well it does and how good it does, and you know that this is just kind of the starting point. It does good.
Yeah, and this is so talk about this for us, Patrick. This is definitely an AI, a usage of AI, but Tommy's asking, is this based off of Google AI or did LP have to code for this to work?
Yeah, so it's kind of I mean, it's kind of a hybrid. It kind of depends on what it is, the prompts and things like that. But definitely we're not in the business of creating AI, the artificial intelligence, to do all of this. So it's definitely leveraging tools that are out there
Sure.
and integrating with List Perfectly. And then obviously, there's some components that we're building and coding for our users to be able to integrate basically seamlessly and everything. So yeah, it's a good question. But and then of course, there's a lot of work done to make it relatable for our users.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
interesting.
yeah.
Um and this is cool because we kind of did see this when we were testing it too. So Flippin' Hippo Star says, I had what I thought was a pendant out of a jewelry lot, but the express lister picked up the name on it and it was a Christmas ornament. So it's getting, I mean, it's got that level of detail. We've tested and seen other stuff get picked up. And, this is, it's cool because to me, I think it's super fun to use and I think it super speeds things up. And there's stuff coming soon. It's going to get even better. I mean, you're going to be, don't be scared of AI. It's creeping into everything we do. And this is just going to help make everything faster. And we were talking the other day about the term game changer that we use so much, but sometimes a term is very applicable. This is a game changer.
Yeah. I mean, it's really gonna. I mean, it's already having a big impact on users that have found it and used it because, like,
Yeah,
we really just kind of silently release this because we know how different it's going to be just in the
yeah,
next couple of weeks and how much easier it's going to be to use. So yeah, it is definitely a game changer. You know, like when I look back at the life of List Perfectly's life, there's been like key big game changers,
Yeah.
features that people use all the time every day that, kind of forget like, wow, that existed before. There was a time before that, bulk cross posting,
Yeah.
is something. There was a time before that, and that was game changing for people. Doing the photo room integration became game changer for people's
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, it became so important for people to do it. And then when it was introduced, so like that was a game changer. The new catalog, the improvements, even though there's some people out there that still making the adjustment,
Yeah.
it's a game changer for sure. And these kinds of features that are coming with the AI and the listing assistant is definitely a game changer and pushes List Perfectly so far out of just being this cross posting tool,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, just being even more robust, that a productivity tool that happens to have a cross posting feature,
There you go. Yeah.
is definitely much more in line as we look at these kinds of features.
Well, let me slide this question in, and I think I
Yeah,
know the answer to this. So if I've already taken pictures and they are in drafts, can I still ask Listing Assistant to make my title? If so, how? Or do I need to do it right out of Express Lister? I think now you do have to put the photos in, but very soon you'll be able to do this. Is that correct?
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So right this moment, if you went today and tried this, you cannot add existing listings and utilize the title generator or image analyzer. Um, so there's a workaround for today would be to re-upload those images into Express Lister and do it that way, or like Doug said, coming very soon, the integration will be there to
Yeah.
make this easier and smoother for this exact reason.
Yeah, I'd probably just wait a little bit, but it's up to you. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I can't give an exact date. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be this weekend, but it's also not that
yeah,
far away.
exactly. And that just goes to like we test all this stuff. We test internally. We have beta testers and we test this stuff because you don't want to roll anything out before it's ready. You see that a lot in this industry. Stuff gets rolled out just to roll it out, and there's issues. It doesn't work. You hear about like other options. It's like voodoo, Patrick. It's like you do not want to mess with voodoo. Um, Sometimes stuff rolls out that doesn't work, and we try to vet everything, test it a lot, and not roll it out till it's ready.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We try really hard. I know some people don't may not think of it, but think we do on some, especially if they experience like an issue or a bug or something like that. But I can promise everybody that the internal testing that takes place, the team does an incredible job. Uh, the
Yeah,
work that
for
goes
sure.
in with the beta groups, really, for how many moving pieces there are with List Perfectly, and 11 marketplaces, stuff, working with all day every day. There's so many features that are very much tested and make sure it's working. So
Exactly, exactly. And then you know, let's see. Tommy's at so this is an interesting question, but Tommy, this is why we do have the beta groups, and we usually announce it's like, hey, we've got a beta group. And a lot of times this is another, reason to think about the referral program is a lot of times we go to the referral program members for to get them for beta testing. So we really don't have like a sandbox for you to play in, but we have those beta programs, and we go through, we test, we get the feedback, and we implement it, and then we go from there.
yeah. I mean, I love the idea of it, and that's something that maybe we will. I will say that like, we do offer the ability to upgrade at just like a prorated charge. I do understand like it's a whole other thing. But I mean, I do love that idea. It'd be super cool for people to be able to be like, let me hop in and see what a Pro Plus account really looks like and what those features look like, and then decide to upgrade. So, yeah, I do really love that idea. All I can really say is right now you can do the prorated charge, and then we're always happy to work with you if for some reason it's not a good fit or something, and you need to drop back down or something. So
Yeah, and basically, real quick with Pro Plus is you go in, opt into Pro Plan, and then you can opt into Pro Plus from there.
yep, yeah,
Um, so let's move on to this other great tool that is, you kind of hinted at this earlier, like the evolution of stuff. So we used to have something like this, but this is a much better way to do it. So let's talk on the merge feature.
yeah, yeah. So the merge feature is available on all plans. This is one of those features that was actually made available whenever those updates were taking place. But List Perfectly out of the box years and years ago came with a feature called Copy to Open Marketplace tab. So many people never used it, or so many people really weren't really sure how to use it and how to really kind of leverage it to be in their favor. So merge is that, but but built in a way and functions so much better and easier for users to utilize it. So look, pretty much every marketplace um, has something in place to make listing on their platform easier. So the big one is obviously eBay. Let's say that you have pair of sneakers like we're showing right here. Let's say you have a pair of sneakers and you know that there's a product on eBay. The listing's already built, it's live, and you like the way that listing is built. It's got a million item specifics filled out, all of that. Well, eBay offers a feature called Sell Now, I believe is what the exact term is on someone else's listings. But essentially, you hit that Sell Now, and what it does is it pulls all of the details that's possible from that listing and into a new listing. So, like when we look at this, all of those item specifics are already filled out. Someone else already took the time to fill all of those out right there.
Yeah.
So you hit that Sell Now, and that new draft is started. And where List Perfectly and Merge comes in is that you can simply just select the List Perfectly extension, hit Merge, and now your details merge with this draft that started. So we all know that List Perfectly doesn't support the 1,500 item specifics on this listing, but List Perfectly supports images, my title, my price, things like that. So whenever you merge your List Perfectly listing to this, what it does is brings in the important information from your listing and cuts out on you going through and filling out all of those item specifics. So you can see here in the video, we click merge, we find the listing, and now whenever we finally click the merge button, our details start coming over from List Perfectly. So here's our actual images, title updates, and then some of the other details. And then in the item specifics, they're all still filled out with everything that some other poor schmuck filled out.
So it's interesting because obviously, like you said, all marketplaces, this it shines on eBay, and you'll see a lot of sellers some sellers will do it from their own listings, like Hustlebee lists from his own eBay listings because they're set up like he's like he likes them. Um, and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
it's like someone's saying it. Tommy says, I don't trust others' item specifics. Yeah. And, you definitely have the chance to review, and you should always review when you go through, but, and take a close look at the listing you're listing off of. But, this is just a tool, I think, too, that not everybody's going to use, but for certain sellers, it's just one of these things we've improved an old process, and, added this in, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Yep. And again, it's available on all plans. It's definitely one, you know, you can kind of leverage depending on what marketplace you're going to. And it does matter, you know, what kind of products you're selling too. You
Yeah,
know, like
exactly.
super one of a kind things. Like, is that really going to fit? Are you going to find someone else's listing that's really well built? Makes it much more difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Quick question. When will LP create a price box on each platform? Thanks. Gloria, K Designs. Thank you for the question.
Mm. So I want to make sure I'm fully understanding here. So List Perfectly does support copying prices over to each marketplace on all the platforms. Guess I'm just not 100% sure.
Right. Yeah, Gloria, if you want to put more detail, because I was hoping Patrick understood the question because I did. But
Yeah.
I do have to say, Patrick has a young son, a young lad. I have teenage kids. My wife is an instructional aide at a middle school, and we were talking about some of the slang the other day, and we had to look it up on looking on TikTok to see what the slang is. But part of it is chat. So when they're talking to somebody, and I guess it's from some gamer who says chat, and he's literally talking about the chat of people that are chatting to him. But younger kids now, they will be like, would be in a conversation with Patrick and say chat instead of Patrick. So I'm going to try and refer to chat along the way as we go.
I don't. My kid's too young. I'm pretty happy if he says Apple.
There you go. So far, so far. Couple quick things that I did see in the comment. You know, Jason brings up a great point. Always review. I always review. That's why I've always loved the open tabs, because I go through and review. Somebody said that you know, the Pro Plus plan right now is really like playing around in the sandbox, and you can see, you know, these features, and we have these different plans for a reason. It's like not every plan applies to everybody's business. It depends on how much you're selling, what your size is, and different plans. And there's some stuff you may or may not use. Um, Star says, many of us price differently on different platforms. We want to put that in on LP and have it copy over. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Sure.
Yeah. No, it's a great feature. So, you know, I can't say that is for sure, you know, coming in the next couple weeks or anything like that. But I can tell you that Express Lister and this transition that a lot of you guys are using and everything, this transition is laying the groundwork for big changes coming soon to the whole listing experience on List Perfectly.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is kind of, unfortunately, because of how the system works and just on the technical side, and, you know, everybody with thousands and thousands of listings in their existing catalog, it's not like it's something that we could just, you know, flip a switch and everybody's using this brand new system. So it's a little bit of a transition, but, you know, you can see, I mean, you know, people can start to put the pieces together like, okay, Express Listers being rolled out looks a little bit different features. So it's really laying that groundwork for, you know, bigger and better things. And I love that. I love that idea. I mean, that is so common. You've got some people that are always listing Mercari. You know, Mercari doesn't have fees anymore, so maybe they're getting away with 10% cheaper on Mercari or whatever it might be.
Exactly.
It's a great feature request.
So let's move on to, so here's another thing that you know, we always say, connect List Perfectly to your marketplaces, list from the catalog, you know, track your inventory from List Perfectly. And I wouldn't say it used to be hard, but this next feature makes it easy to connect everything. We really recommend that, you know, and it's going to allow you to use things like sales notification, auto delist, all these different tools. So let's talk about our new friend, Connection Wizard.
Yeah. Connection Wizard is just like Doug said, it's built to make it easier to do the connections. So right now, when we're talking about connecting shops, it is for specific features like sales detection, auto delist, things like that. Because everybody that uses List Perfectly knows that for me to cross post from List Perfectly to eBay, I just simply need to be logged into eBay. I don't have to connect anything. I don't need to do anything like that. But for List Perfectly, for me to tell List Perfectly, hey, I want you to listen for sales. And then if I'm on the Pro Plus level, now I don't only want you to listen for sales, I want you to listen for sales. And when you hear a sale, I want you to go delist that off in the marketplaces. There needs to be a connection made there for that. So Connection Wizard really just makes that a much easier process. It used to be kind of buried into the extension settings. So this really just brings it much more to the front, in front of the user, to simply, select your marketplaces you want to connect. And then once you do that, it will detect and make sure that you're logged in and connect those shops for you.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, pulling over the information and just making it easier or making it so those other functions can function correctly.
Yeah.
And I like that, we've got this live stuff and Patrick is narrating screen scrolling and videos live. So there you go. Anything else about Connection Wizard, or any questions on Connection Wizard?
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Like I said, it is something that obviously more important for connecting for some of those other features. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's pretty intuitive and people are getting it.
And a couple other things I wanted to touch on. Definitely want to touch on, because there's new stuff coming with the Posh sharing tool. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that at all yet. The Posh sharing tool new feature is first off, it's available on the Pro and Pro Plus right now. Right now, gives you the ability to share your listings, share other people's listings. You can share from your closet, you can share from the feed, which we all know how important that is for Poshmark's success. They're a social platform, selling platform. So the reality is that it is part of it. And this just brings that feature into List Perfectly, a service you're already using and paying for. So you can see here in the video where we're getting Posh sharing set up and then adjusting all of those settings. And it kind of really just gives the user the control where you want to make those shares from, and then tweak and kind of pull the strings to set it up to figure out how many shares you want to try and accomplish in a day. So right now, that's how this is. I can tell you that there's more features that are being developed for this specific tool that are going to make this much more robust. Probably the next release in the coming week or so, maybe a couple weeks, is going to be follows and follow back. So getting followers, following people back that have been following you on Poshmark, introducing that, and then the introduction of the offers to likers is something that is in the works. It is we fully understand how important that is to being successful and to being successful with this kind of tool. So it is something that's in the works right now.
There you go. There you go. Here's a quick question from Tommy. Since Posh is allowing bots in their terms of service, is auto relist coming down the pipeline anytime soon? I mean, if you choose to do that, we do have the list delist function.
Yeah. It is definitely in the terms of like delisting and relisting. Like, I'm not gonna hide behind it. Like, it is on the more cumbersome side for this more automated relisting process and stuff like that. It is 100% on the radar, and something that is in the pipeline. I'm not comfortable like right now on this date to say like when exactly it's going to be released.
Sure.
But it is something that is in the pipeline.
Exactly.
Along with some other features that we're not even really scratching the surface on, but some other features that are going to really play into um, that kind of behavior and management of listings. If you do, delist and relist.
Yeah. And, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, just to kind of add to that, like we get that delist, relist, total, common practice and everything. We just at List Perfectly believe that there's some key pieces that need to be in place to really make that valuable and set all of our users up to be able to be successful doing that and
Sure.
making it a practice. So those aren't quite ready yet.
Trish brought up the resale with Trish. Brought up an interesting thing, the link feature. Can you, we've had that around a bit, but can you remind us a little bit about the link feature?
Yeah. So yeah, it has been around for a bit. I don't know exactly when it was released, but the link feature is just a super easy way for to kind of give you the tools to keep your catalog linked, your active listings linked to your catalog. So if you're using the List Perfectly catalog, it's crucial that your catalog remain in good health.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for, if your catalog says that it has an active listing linked to it on Poshmark, that needs to be true. All right, like you can't do all the features with List Perfectly if your catalog is a mess.
Sure.
But the reality is that things happen on the marketplaces, delisting and relisting. There's other bots. There's blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. So Link was introduced to give users that tool to be able to quickly identify if there's an issue, but also link back. So you'll notice these buttons on your active listings. If it says link, that means it's not linked to your catalog. We see that switch to copied there. That is copied. So link really gives you that quick way to link back to your catalog, make sure things are, correct, basically.
There you go. Tommy's a fan. Tommy says links the best feature LP ever created in his humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah, no, that's a huge compliment. Link was a really, really good introduction and important for people to be able to. It's one of those. It's one of those ones where when you use it, if it went away tomorrow, you would have a hard time remembering a day that it was, gone, or that it didn't exist and everything. It's become, kind of a staple in people's flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep things nice and neat, basically, in their catalog.
Yeah. And this is a cool feature. It's like, it's not as huge, I think, as some of the stuff we put out, but it's very useful in many situations. So, but I'm glad Tommy is a big fan of it. So we've covered a lot. Anything else you want to throw in?
We didn't talk about some of the maybe like not feature things like referral program and listing party and some of the non-technical things that are so valuable. So I know that we're running late on time, so I don't know, maybe we'd set up a different time to kind of talk about that.
Patrick is teasing for a part 3. So, maybe so, but definitely listing party, referral program. And then I don't want to put you on the spot, Patrick, and I know we are still in negotiations, but Patrick and I have been talking about doing a regular tech talk listing party at listingparty.com.
Yeah, your people are talking to my people.
Yeah, well, I mean, what can we do? When they present it to us, then we make our final decision. It could be a go, could be a no-go.
Yeah, no. I'm leaning towards go.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I am looking forward to that. Doing something a little bit more regular. I think it'll kind of um, allow us to stay, kind of on top of things and not have to backtrack and and everything. And that would be inside of Listing Party, which again, like I don't want to just brush over because of how huge it really is. And I want to spend time, kind of talking about that at some point. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to doing that.
So yeah, so let's promise the people this. We're talking about Tech Talk with Patrick and Doug until Patrick lets me go or replaces me with Marshall or Pat or who knows. And it won't be a support thing. It'll be like us literally talking about some of the tech behind things because that's what Patrick does. He's our senior director of tech innovations, but we'll also talk about tech in general. Maybe I mean obviously we'd probably talk about AI. We talk about other things, maybe things coming to the platform, but kind of in a more techy approach. So, but it'd be similar to this. But I think Patrick, you've basically committed to we call it don't do this with List Perfectly, but a Patrick and Doug 3.0.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It does make me a little nervous though, because in a trilogy, usually the second is the best. Cause again, you introduce the characters, that's good stuff. And then in the sequel, people know the characters, so you don't have to establish as much stuff. You just have to hit with the story. And then in the third, you got to kind of wrap it up a bit too. So that's a challenge. But what we're basically telling people is we're going to do 3 movies and a TV series.
What more could you really want?
Exactly. What more could you want?
T-shirt?
T-shirts, maybe. Coffee cups. Dolls. Action figures. I prefer action figures over dolls.
I feel better about that, but yeah.
The terminology.
Yeah.
Funko Pops.
Ooh.
You could have this is obviously Morrissey, but you could have a Patrick or Doug Funko Pop on your desk.
Wow. I think that's when you've made it. Can you get custom made Funko Pops?
You can have custom made Funko Pops made. So that is a thing that can happen. So you never know. There could already be little Patrick Funko Pops out there.
Better not be.
You want your cut.
Yeah. I mean, somebody needs to be giving me my kickback.
That's right.
I remember when my brother was younger, somebody gave him like a custom made bobblehead of himself.
Interesting.
How broke it? No, I'm just kidding.
Broke the head.
Just kidding.
All right. Okay, so let's sum it up. So we covered the List Perfectly Help Center. You want to definitely keep an eye out for that cool little widget down in the right, and you'll see messages in there. You can search help, you can get help, you can search articles, you can learn. It's always a good idea to spend time learning stuff. The links you will be able to see in the comments on Facebook. And so those are there. Those will be archived. If you didn't watch this whole thing, it's going to be archived on the YouTube channel, so you can watch that. And you could go back and watch part 1 as well, just to see the change, see how much we've evolved in a year. Because a couple weeks ago when Patrick and so technically this is part 3, I guess you would say.
That's true.
Because this is part 2, 2.0, we're calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tommy, technically you are correct. Sometimes the sequels are not great. Not all the time, but sometimes. Like Jaws 2 is not as good as Jaws 1, but we can't. That's what the Snoop Dougie show is for. If you want random pop arguments about random things, come to the Snoop Dougie show and Listening Party. But anyway, we reminded you about the Google update and why that's important. We talked about Listing Assistant. There's going to be cool stuff coming from that. That's our amazing, there is no better word, game-changing AI integration that's going to make it fun to list. Even those that don't like to list are going to enjoy it. It's going to make it fun, and it's going to be so fast too. So a lot coming to that. The merge tool is something that can help you, create listings based off of other listings that you like on marketplaces. Connection Wizard makes it easy for you to connect all your marketplaces to List Perfectly. And we talked about the Posh sharing tool that is going to have some other updates coming to it as well. And we think that, I mean, this is what I tell people is like, we have heard that, people use certain Posh sharing options, and now
Yeah.
it's not gonna be necessary. Why not just do it all within List Perfectly? Can you imagine everyone running around with Doug and Patrick t-shirts on? I can, Kim, I can. And then here's Trish to bring it back around for me. No, Kim, no, Doug's ego is already too big. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean,
What
that
are you
show is gonna take you down a notch, man.
gonna No, exactly. I will, you know, I will go cry in my water cup in a little bit. Thank you so much, Trish, for that. But we all need to start rumors of things coming that we want. So LP has to make it happen. Well, you could go suggest features too. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. It's like suggest features, they go all the way to the top. Everything gets looked at, everything gets considered. Some of them get put on a timetable, but some of them have been turned out, right away if it makes sense. But yeah, we take a look at everything. So that's what that's for. But everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And especially thank you, Patrick. Sorry it took you not too long. Took you so long to get back on the show. We will do, I mean, likely we're gonna have to see. We will do the tech talk. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. So
We're doing it. Oh, it's
yeah,
gonna be fun. When are we starting it?
we wanted to tease you. Well, Patrick, I was thinking about that. So I think so I'm on vacation in 2 weeks, so I think maybe we should start it in July. What do you think?
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right. Cuz
I'm
we don't
down.
want to start it and then have people have to wait a week or two, and that would just be
It's a
difficult.
tease. That's a tease, is what it is.
It's a tease, yeah, like a little off the shoulder type of thing.
Yeah. And that is not what I'll be wearing at these, by the way.
No, not at like a flash dance type of thing. No.
I don't know. It gets really hot here in Phoenix in July, so
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Get the heat wave now.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Patrick. This was fun. I always enjoyed doing this kind of stuff with you, and I'm looking forward to Tech Talk.
Let's do it. Yeah, it was fun. Everybody have
All
a
right.
good weekend.
All right. Thanks everybody. Hopefully, stay cool in this heat across the country, and we will